Well, welcome to Focus Today. A very special guest in the studio with me today. Neil McCain's with us. He's the commander of the Korean War Veterans Association for the department here in Oregon. And Neil, what an honor to have you in with us today.
Well, thank you very, very much.
Quite a few things to talk about in a short amount of time, but Oregon is significant in recognizing Korean vets. Tell us about that.
Yes, June 25th, in Oregon only, of all of the 50 states, is Korean War Memorial Day. I was with our governor when he signed the bill, and had a picture taken with it, of course. And significant is because that's the day in 1950 that the war started.
Wow.
In Korea.
Wow.
Then we have another day coming up, July 27th, which will be the 60th anniversary for the signing of the armistice. And so these this is the year of the Korean War vet.
All right, now I have here with me a framed copy that you brought in the Senate of the United States, November 27, 2012. Tell us about this. This is absolutely gorgeous.
Well, this was given to me by the Senate, Ron Wyder, and I had it and didn't take time to read it immediately. We show up at his meetings that he has, and we give the Pledge of Allegiance, and he allows us to display the memorials for those that were killed in that particular county.
Wow.
And then he reads their names and holds a moment of silence.
Wow.
He's been doing that for the last 3-4 years for us.
Wow.
So he gave me this award, and I just assumed that this award was maybe something like what the Koreans do when I go to Portland. And it was clear until March that I read this.
Wow.
I didn't realize what it was.
Wow. That is significant. So now you do a lot of things. Are you looking for more information about Korean War veterans?
Absolutely. Yes, I would like all Korean War veterans to, first of all, apply for this Certificate of Appreciation.
Okay, and you have one there.
I have one here.
Okay.
And what these are the Department of Defense.
Yeah, this is beautiful. 1950, 1953, the Korean War.
Yes.
And this is a Korean War Certificate of Appreciation.
Yes, it is.
And that basically it means what?
Well, thank you, I guess is what it means.
Okay.
But now, when I went to their website, they had something there to donate. You can enroll for that. And I told them, we already had over 5 million donate their time. We had 38,000 of them die. I said, I think you ought to take that donate off of their website.
Okay.
They promised that they will.
Okay. Now you have a stack of these in your office to give out. How many?
414.
414.
Yeah.
And is that for where? All over the country or here?
My classmates only there.
Really?
But I did not have the addresses for my classmates, so they sent them all to me to have them distributed. I did have all my shipmates, 176 of them. They had their addresses and they mailed them.
Wow.
I had all of the Korean War vets here locally that belonged to their chapters. I had their names. Then I went on the radio and over in Grants Pass, and I had left the applications there at their counter, and people have done it. I went to the newspaper, and several people that I called that I had their certificates, that they said that they got 2 of them now because they saw me, or read it in the newspaper how to get them, because you can get them online. There is a website.
Let me just say to our viewers and listeners, you can go to McCainInstitute.com. That's his website to get more information about all these things we're talking about, and especially if you have any connection to a Korean War vet, contact Neil through his website, McCainInstitute.com, because you have other things. You not only have the certificate, but you have memorials and then a certificate for those who are still alive. And that's free?
Yes, that's free. I do that free. If I have the names, well, now when they're alive, I have to have their DD-214.
Okay.
The DD-214 tells me enough information that I show them. It's just a one-page thing, similar to this.
All right, let me have that so I can show that. And so you make these up and you send them to, they're beautifully done. I don't know if our camera can pick that up.
Yeah, I email them to them free.
Wow.
When they wish, I'll put it on a CD, And then I can take it down to Staples. Some places got one of these
fancy printers.
And put it on glossy white. Looks like a photograph.
Well, I'm really curious to find out how did Oregon become the only state to have a Korean War Memorial Day?
There was one representative, a woman, a Democrat, another senator, a woman, a Democrat. They thought we should have one. And I had been talking to them. I said, we don't. And they pushed the bill through. And so I was up there and I signed with the when the governor signed for it. I got a picture side by side. And that was very gracious of them.
Oh, that's wonderful. So we're the only state that has this coming up on the 25th. And that's the Korean War Memorial Day, and that's the first day of the war in 1950.
That's the business started.
Okay, and then the actual Armistice Day was
July 27th.
Right. And
3 years later.
So how many died in Korea?
There was over 5 million in the 3 years. We lost 2,000 to starvation and frostbite.
Wow.
It's so sad. I've made a list of both Vietnam and those, and I do the memorials from how they died, where they died. People always ask me, what's the difference between a Korean vet and a Vietnam vet? And my canned answer was age.
Right.
But after reading those, and I'm doing the memorials now for Vietnam, Korea was so cold, miserably cold, and we had no supplies. And the young men, all of them lost their lives so terribly, viciously. Vietnam, very, very hot, miserable, hot, mosquito, all kinds of disease, and Agent Orange.
Right.
I don't know much about them personally, but I do know this for those that died, because I've read how they died. They all did what they were told to do, and they did it honorably. And I would like people to remember them.
Well, I think, quite frankly, we don't pay a whole lot of attention to the Korean War. For some reason, it got eclipsed by the Vietnam War, which was highly politically charged, as you well know.
Yes, it was.
But, and some actually served in both arenas. Some,
absolutely.
There were some very young in the Korean War that ended up going into the Vietnam War.
Absolutely. My ship, had I stayed in, would have been in both.
Really?
But I came home after the war was over. I wasn't discharged yet, but I pulled in a drive-in restaurant. Looked at the car next to me. That was the young girl parked over there that I took to the prom in 1950.
Really?
Well, it all ended up, I ended up marrying her.
Oh.
And 59 years. We just had our 59th anniversary.
Congratulations.
And so I loved the Navy. I loved it. And I got a grandson just called me up and asked me the same thing. He's in the Navy. Found a girl. But I love my wife more. And whether you're 10 miles out or 10,000 miles out, you ain't home.
Yeah, right, right.
And so I decided to get out.
So you were in, were you there for the full 3 years of that war?
4.
4 years of that war.
Well, the war was 3 years. Yeah, I was in longer than that.
Yeah.
We were in what we called the China service at that particular time after the war. Taiwan at one time was called Formosa. In fact, the first time I went there it was called Formosa.
Formosa, yeah.
And the last time I went there it was Taiwan, Kaohsiung. And that's when they had 300 Chinese on one side of their little island out there. And they were all shooting at us. Small arms, of course. We were told to stay off the side of the ports. Right. And so they were getting ready to invade Taiwan. And so we got some kind of a little award for that as well.
Well, again, Neil heads up, he's the commander of the Korean War Veterans Association here in Oregon. And if you know anybody that's connected with the Korean War, family or friend, go to McCaininstitute.com and let Neil know where you are and the certificate of appreciation and perhaps even one of these other certificates that he can send to you via email or on a disc. He'll get that out to you. And don't forget, Korean War Memorial Day coming up June 25th. The only state in the Union that has it, Oregon.
Yes, at the present time.
And well, I want to say thank you for following that through the legislature all the way to the point of a bill and a day.
Working with them, I finally found out what whereas meant.
And how many did you have in this bill?
12.
12? Okay. Well, welcome to the political arena. Thank you for your service.
Thank you very,
and thanks
very
for
much.
coming in. Okay, we'll be right back.